Picture this: a place where the air itself feels thick with sorrow, where the ground beneath your feet is said to be mixed with the ashes of the dead, and where silence is broken only by whispers from those long gone. This is Poveglia Island, a place so infamous, so cursed, that even hardened explorers refuse to set foot on its decaying soil. A place where, for centuries, suffering has been etched into every crumbling brick and twisted tree root. Some call it the most haunted island in the world. Others won't even say its name. But Poveglia was not always a place of death. We will also reveal if our previous story, the midnight broadcast incident, is true or fictional at the end of this video, so stay tuned. It started as a peaceful settlement, a refuge from war and invasion. As the Roman Empire crumbled, people fled to the Venetian lagoon, seeking safety on its scattered islands. Poveglia was one of them, a sanctuary from the chaos of the mainland. For centuries it thrived. Small villages were built, trade flourished, and the people of Poveglia lived simple, happy lives. But peace never lasts. In 1379, Venice was at war with Genoa. The Venetian government, fearing an attack, evacuated Poveglia's residents, turning their once thriving home into a barren, abandoned outpost. And then the plague came. The Black Death swept through Europe like an invisible fire, leaving millions of rotting corpses in its wake. Venice, a major trading hub, was particularly vulnerable. To stop the disease from spreading, the city's rulers made a brutal decision. Anyone showing the slightest symptoms of the plague would be sent to Poveglia. There, among the ruins of their former homes, they would be left to die. It started as a quarantine zone. Ships arriving in Venice had to pass through Poveglia first, their passengers inspected for sickness. But when the plague surged, the island became something far worse. A death camp, a mass graveyard. People were dragged from their homes, their families screaming as they were torn apart. It didn't matter if they had the plague or not. If there was even a suspicion, they were sent to Poveglia. The lucky ones died quickly. The unlucky ones roamed the island, begging for food, their skin blackened with sores, their lungs filling with blood. They coughed up pieces of themselves, their bodies devouring them from the inside out. The screams of the dying echoed over the water, reaching Venice's shores. And when death finally came, their bodies were burned in massive pyres, so many that the island's very soil is said to be made of human ash. Over 100,000 souls perished on Poveglia. Their remains still lie beneath the dirt, their suffering never truly forgotten. But Poveglia's horrors did not end with the plague. In 1922, a psychiatric hospital was built on the island. Official records describe it as a place of healing, but the truth was far darker. Patients were subjected to cruel and unusual treatments: cold water submersions, electroshock therapy, and primitive lobotomies performed with rusted tools. Then there was the doctor. No one knows his name. Some say he was brilliant, others say he was insane. But what is known is that he used the patients of Poveglia as test subjects in horrific experiments. He drilled holes in their skulls, trying to cure their madness. He injected them with unknown substances, watching as their bodies convulsed. He performed lobotomies using hammers and chisels, reducing his victims to empty shells. And as time passed, something began to change. The doctors started hearing whispers. He saw shadows moving in empty rooms. Patients, long dead, appeared at his bedside, their mouths stitched shut, their eyes filled with hate. The spirits of Poveglia had come for him. And one night, driven mad by the voices in his head, he climbed the hospital's bell tower and threw himself from the top. His broken body was found at the base of the tower, his face frozen in an expression of pure terror. But his death did not bring peace. Some say the spirits of Poveglia dragged him to hell. Others claim his ghost still lingers, watching, waiting. And the bell tower? Even though the bell was removed long ago, it sometimes rings at night, a hollow, mournful sound drifting over the lagoon. The hospital closed in 1968, and Poveglia was abandoned once more. The buildings, left to decay, were swallowed by nature. Vines creep through shattered windows, walls crumble, and rusted beds sit untouched, as if waiting for patients that will never return. Those who dare venture to Poveglia speak of an unnatural silence, a heavy presence that presses against their chest. Some hear voices, pleas for help, whispered warnings. Others feel unseen hands pushing them, trying to force them into the dark. And some never return at all. The Italian government has tried to sell Poveglia, but no one wants it. Fishermen avoid its shores, afraid that if they cast their nets too close, they'll pull up something other than fish. Tourists who dare to visit come back changed, pale, shaking, their eyes filled with something they can't explain. So Poveglia sits alone, a forgotten island of the dead. But it is not empty. The shadows still move, the whispers still echo. And if you stand on the shores of Venice at night and listen carefully, you just might hear the toll of a bell ringing for the damned. So, what do you think? Is this story true or not? Let me know in the comments, and we will reveal the answer in our next video. And now, let's address our previous story, the midnight broadcast incident. While it was certainly a chilling tale, there is no evidence to suggest that such an event ever actually took place. If a mass broadcast hijacking like this had truly occurred, especially across multiple states, it would have been widely reported in the news. However, there are no credible news articles, police reports, or government statements to support it. In real cases of broadcast interference, such as the 1987 Max Headroom incident, the media and authorities immediately investigated. Yet no such records exist for the midnight broadcast incident. Additionally, modern broadcast systems are highly secured, making it nearly impossible for a hacker to override multiple television signals simultaneously across different regions. Even in real-world cases of signal hijacking, such as the 1977 Southern Television broadcast interruption in the UK, the event was localized and not widespread. Furthermore, the story lacks verifiable eyewitness testimonies. If thousands of people had truly experienced the same eerie broadcast, online discussions, archived reports, and independent investigations would exist. Yet there are none. The narrative also contains many hallmarks of a classic urban legend: a familiar everyday setting, a late-night TV routine, an unexplained and eerie event, a hijacked broadcast with a cryptic warning, a slow escalation of fear, and an open-ended mystery. These elements are commonly used in fictional horror stories, much like the tales of Slender Man or Black-Eyed Children. Finally, the story offers no plausible technical explanation for how the hijacking was achieved or why it left no trace. In real instances of broadcast interference, investigators typically identify a source, such as a pirate transmitter or compromised signal relay. Yet this broadcast supposedly vanished without a single lead. Whether it was an elaborate internet myth, a modern creepypasta, or simply a well-crafted work of fiction, one thing is certain: there is no substantial evidence that the midnight broadcast incident ever truly happened. If you enjoy our stories, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Click the link in the description to buy me a coffee. Thank you so much for watching.